wind up on some. Cause it's free, got a time. Time to join the line. Time to lose your mind. Cause it's homecoming time. Man, if your car break down, see the jitney coming now. So time to wind around. Cause we got to start it now. The man in a boat. Hey. What you gonna do, the man in a boat? Let's go. What you gonna do, the man in a boat? Passing through. Hey. What you gonna do, the man in a boat? Passing through. Let's go, let's go. I getting me something. I'm shaking on something. I'm dancing on something. Winding on something. Now shake up on something. Wind up on something. Now let's go deep in the bush. Ride all round the town. To every settlement. In every family island. Man, we drinking rum. Man, we having fun. This only happens one place. The Bahama Islands. Let's go in a boat. Hey, passing through. Now what you? Come on, the man in a boat. Passing. Let's go. He's jumping up and waving, man. Go. Passing through. Hey, he waving, watch him. Passing through. Let's go, let's go. I go wine on something. I'm shaking on something. I'm dancing on something. Winding on something. I'm shaking on something. Wind up on something. Must stop joking. Pay the captain. Pay the captain. Pay the captain. Pay the captain. Now hop the boat. Hop the boat. Hop the boat. Show him you aim boat. Ride the boat. Ride the boat. Ride the boat. Ride the boat. Scull the boat. Come on, scull the boat. Hey, scull the boat. That man in the boat passing through. Hey, watch out. That man in the boat passing through. Now watch out. Wait, that man in the boat passing through. Passing through. Passing. That man in the boat passing through. Come on, come on. The big boat pulling in. Watch the people rake and scraping. Ain't nobody stalking. Everybody's drinking. It's regatta time. Time to bump and wine. At the regatta site is where I gonna be tonight. Come on, the boat passing through. Now what you gonna? The man in the boat passing through. Now what you gonna? The man in the boat passing through. Now what you? Come on, the man in the boat. Come on, jump in. 2, 3, let's go. The big boat captain, the big boat captain, the big boat captain, the big boat captain, the big boat, 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 now the big ride the boat, 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 now the big ride the boat, the big ride the boat, the big ride the boat, the big boat, hey, the big boat captain, the big boat captain, the big boat captain, the big boat captain, the big boat, 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 now the big ride the boat, the big ride the boat, the big ride the boat, come on, big ride the boat, hey, the big ride the boat, the big ride the boat, come on, big ride the boat, the big ride the boat. Now that's a vibe.
Yet you call your friends to come sip on me. Shouldn't call your friends to come sip on me. But son, I'm telling you where son, look how hard me work for you. I even break my bread in two to prove this love I have for you. Still you call your friends to come sip on me. Shouldn't call your friends to come sip on me. But son, I'm telling you where son, I don't matter what she wants to say, I don't matter what she wants to do. I can tell her this is no delay. Shouldn't call your friends to come sip on me. Shouldn't call your friends to come sip on me. But son, I'm telling you where son,
have a dream where the powerful and the powerless will sit at the same table, where the haves will see the have-nots, not as burdens, but as brothers, where class will not divide us, but conviction will unite us. I have a dream that the oligarchs will remember we must all eat, that the brown-faced neo-colonialists will remember who they are and whose they are. I have a dream that fraternities will build beyond internal architecture into a national bond, that the walls of design will give way to the bridges of brotherhood, not a fraternity of symbol, but a brotherhood of substance. I have a dream that we remain focused, that we stay in our conviction and remain fearless, that we double down, fortified, to return this Bahamaland to the foundation.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are here live. It's a rainy day in the city of Nassau. I hope you guys are good. We are out here live and in full effect, jamming with you on this beautiful day here in my war paraphernalia, ready to be able to go to war. Because I think it is a war, and I want to be able to have a good conversation with you. Yesterday, we would have been able to see some things that is astonishing. 12 o'clock in Utah yesterday, a couple hours back from us, we would have seen Charlie Kirk shot down, dead. Well, you know, he didn't die right away. He went to the hospital and eventually succumbed to those particular injuries. But I want to have a real conversation with you today. I want to talk today. Today's September 11th. America, the Liberty Bell that has rung around the world and vibrated the membranes of our ears and our souls to this course of their calibrated liberty. That's a lot of words I said. To their course of calibrated liberty, right? Because it has to be through their lens. And this ringing, this ever rich ringing that flowed the world over and gave people the notion, the idea that America, the land of the free, the home of the brave, that sold democracy and liberty in this dispensation and in this era to the world, fortified that with a modified view of how they see it. Not Roman, not Greek, not these kind of not these spaces that exist externally. America has put their own spin on what democracy is. And then they packaged the thing and sought to sell it around the world. In the midst of being able to sell this around the world, people ingested this. I mean, people came in droves from America. It's the land of the free, the home of the brave. The Liberty Bell exists here. The Statue of Liberty. Send us your huddle masses, your poor, your wretched. I can't remember all of these things. But they say this. And in pursuit of being able to identify those persons, because, it was a campaign. It was designed strategically and specifically to be able to bring those persons who were seeking this hope that Dr. Stubbs spoke to us about yesterday. This deprivation of hope that existed, that did not exist, rather. From an external standpoint, America seemed to be able to churn this thing out. America, by design, by strategy, by approach, has been able to bippity-boppity-boo. And poof, hope existed at a time of turmoil around the world. And nobody asks whether or not this was the proverbial spam. This was a piecing together of everything to make you seem like it was the meat of our time. Nobody asked. They merely consumed, looking at where they came from as the proverbial Egypt and America as the Canaan. As the America has always been identified in this era that we live in right now, over the past century or two, as a space where you go for liberty, to find your talents, your strengths, the opportunities, the value in which you have for yourself and what you believe that exists within you. You could be able to find gold and diamond within yourself in America because people would pay you those particular prices. Now, this was a campaign. And this campaign was designed to be able to build America. All right? And so they had to be able to get, the destitute, those particular persons who are looking for this modified, generic type spam of a hope that they were selling out. Like the government cheese that they had. Always had side effects in yesteryear. It always had side effects. We would have heard about this government cheese. We heard about this sugar that they used to use and stir for hours and it never dissolved. We heard about these stories from America. From America. And this hope that they gave the entire world existed in the same space. It was processed. No one knew it. I remember in 1992, Hurricane Andrew. We got in America. My entire family traveled together, and we were in America and traveling. I think we went up north someplace. Had a good time. My mother and my father did not come, but we went with Grammy and my uncles and so forth and so on. And all of us lived together, so it wasn't a big deal. And so we went up north, and going up north, we hung out for a little while. We came back down, prepared to be able to go back on the Discovery Sun to get back home, right? This was the time that we were in. So we were with Grammy, and my grandfather was there, and my uncles, and his wife. We had a good time, man. We enjoyed ourselves and my cousins. And the hurricane hit, and we couldn't get home. The hurricane was there, and we couldn't get home. And we needed to find a way to be able to get home, but we couldn't. We stayed at the Miami Airport Inn. I'll never forget this. My uncle Oliver, he had to make a determination as to whether or not to park this car, right? And he said, I think we should park it under the tree. And my grandfather said, no, don't park it under the tree, right? This tree looks sturdy, right? Humongous tree, right? It looked like one of those big rubber trees. And he decided not to park it. He just said, okay, let's leave it right now out in the open. So he put it out in the open right there. The next morning, the tree was on the ground. The next morning, this humongous tree was on the ground. And we were in the Miami airport, just, the power had cut off. We were just looking outside, and, the sky during a hurricane, I think many of us, if not all, know the variations of what we see in the atmosphere during this time. And so we were looking outside in amazement as young children and being able to do that. But at some point during this trip, it wasn't fun anymore. My grandfather likes to kind of make tuna when he was living with us, he'll always have the saltine crackers. He's an old guy. And he would give us saltine crackers and sausage and saltine crackers and bologna. He used to love bologna. And we would go on the beach for picnics and whatnot with my grandfather. But we couldn't find the bologna. Now, he got the saltine crackers because he always keep a stash, right? But we couldn't find the bologna. And we bought something the first time because America had, playing these commercials. Spam. We bought something. Spam. And being the fat child that I am, I was. I had to steal a can of Spam for myself. I just want to be very clear with you. That thing tastes delicious when I hit my mouth the first time. I promise you. I said, what? It was a foreign taste. It wasn't corned beef. It was a little sweeter. I said, what is this? Spam. And before I could get to the end of that one can of Spam that I sought to be able to kind of, set aside for myself, like the mammon from heaven, the manna from heaven, right? before I could get to that particular space. I was stall of this thing. It was horrible. I couldn't even make it to the end of the can. That thing tastes sweet in the first few bites, but that was horrible. This is the liberty and the democracy that is sold around the world. This proverbial spam. That's great for the first few. Tastes good. But you could never make it to the end of the can. You have to have it's an acquired taste. That's what people tell you. And it sucks. And it's horrible food. They say, well, this is an acquired taste. Yes, if you eat manure, this is the acquisition of that taste. America has shoveled off this concept of democracy the world over, and people from places where religion is rich and goes back centuries and centuries and millennium, where they're tethered to their faith and they know the God of their father's father. That don't have to be Jesus Christ. That don't have to be Yahweh. That don't have to be Yeshua. That could be whoever. But because this religion was so rich in their particular space, they can travel back generations and identify their faith. And here comes spam. I mean democracy. Same thing. Interchangeable. And with the first bite, with the first taste, it may be even like the fruit in the Garden of Eden, where your eyes were open to the possibilities of empowerment, of being able to identify something that you've never imagined before in your entire life. And you say, oh my God, I got to get to America. I got to get there. And you do whatever you can. You save your money. You focus. You could watch people around the world changing their language. They're learning English. And not just the Queen's English, not the Queen's English. They don't want nothing to do with her or him or the king. They want that American slang. They want that colloquialism that exists in a free space, in the free world. They want to be identified as the liberalist, as free. This fever ran through the entire world, more or less, and still exist in these particular spaces. Some places are further behind than even the Bahamas. You know that we're like 10, 20 years behind, right? And some places are 30, 40 years behind, but nonetheless, there is a relentless distribution of this proverbial democratic spam that is given around the world. And as persons ingest it and they try to be able to figure out a way, how can I get to the land of the free, the home of the brave? How can I get to happiness, the pursuit of happiness? How? And they do everything they can to find themselves in this space. For the most part, this meal of democracy was sold internally first. During the Civil War, they sold this. In the 1700s, they came up with this particular concept and penned the First Amendment. They sold this. You had to eat your own product first. They were the taste testers. And a great deal of them tasted it. And they became enraged with this idea of what America can be. Civil War, all sorts of things happened to find liberty, to find their version of liberty that they sought after. And as I said to you in this particular story, this ingestion of the spam, you become weary of it, of the meal. In colloquial term, I would say to you that you become stalled. I don't want no more of this thing. I've had my fill. In fact, at some point, you don't even want to taste this. that has happened in America. 340 some million people in the United States of America, and 160 some million of those persons are Caucasians, white Americans, lily white. There are variations, and I know you'd like to believe that that black Americans represents a significant portion, but no, they got Asian Americans, they got Mexican Americans, they got a great deal of persons from a plethora of spaces that represent a good margin of the population in America. I think blacks are maybe third or fourth outside of the 160 some million persons. These people carry legacy with them. Even if you call them backwater, alligator alley, rednecks, they have a memory of their father's father, their great-great-great-grandfather. They have an attachment to them. There is a history that exists in these particular spaces, not in black America. Yeah, they took that history from you long time. Yeah. You wasn't going to come here and try to be able to liberate yourself to the African freedom. You're going to do things through the lens of what America says. You are the slaves in this space. Talk to me. And what happened is after the first generation of those white Americans that ingested this information, and years go by, and generation and generation, they keep passing by. What happened is that life is a cycle. And there is nothing new under the sun. And so the lily white Americans that shoveled off this particular concept and idea in association with their formal organizations, whether that be FBI, CIA, based upon the allegations that have come across the time, because we've heard it. We've heard about, crack cocaine and the introduction of those particular things and how persons would have bring these things in the community. We heard about this. And all this was a part of the community's concept. Yeah, this was a part of the dominance that America sought after. And years passed and generations passed, and generation after generation became diluted. And they start to drink their own Kool-Aids. This was for distribution. The first generation only had to eat this. The first generation only had to eat this. This was designed strategically and specifically for distribution. And so when you find yourself in this kind of a position, you have to ask some questions. Why the second and third and fourth and fifth generations have to be able to consume this? They snuck off to eat this. This wasn't for them. This was for others. We've infused this with whatever they infused it with. And this was to be eaten by and for others. Now watch this. As the generations shifted, guess what happened? It was an introduction of fatigue, this concept and idea of democracy, the liberty that they sought after, the liberty that they spoke of was hollow. I can't even get no amen. I get in somewhere today. The liberty that America spoke of was hollow. It had nothing. It had no soul. It had no rhythm. It didn't speak to anything. It had no future. It was just existed for this time, and it was only an idea, a fleeting idea, that they tried to be able to clothe it with stuff, with the Industrial Revolution, with building something, with providing you a facade of occupation, with trying to be able to say to you that let's build a corporation, let's get into this. This is not real. None of this. And America began to lose its soul. America began to lose its soul. And in the midst of this sort of an idea that exists here, generations after sought to be able to get back to its core, because we go off a searching as men. Every generation of man seeks after God. And we go off a searching. We go off searching, trying to find out the meaning of life. What does this all mean? Where's this coming from? What can I do here? The meaning of life. And in the midst of this all, they get back to faith, to conviction. But because of the rhythm of commercialism that exists in America as a result of the packaging of the proverbial spam that is democracy, that they sell the world over, you don't see words the way that you do anymore. They've modified it and made modifications to the concepts of what words, we knew these words and what they was existed and what they're supposed to mean long time. But now, based upon conditioning, how we seek the world to ingest this, we got to tweak the word. So faith and conviction and belief and religion has been wrapped up in this concept of conservatism. Talk to me. And so now the conservative who seeks to be able to find his God, find his conviction, find his future, find an alignment, and seeks to be able to speak out for the debauchery that he sees around him, that you have labeled democracy, that you have labeled liberty, he realizes that it has no soul. White, yellow, red and yellow, black and white. All seek after a God. Seek after supremacy in God. Seek after the alignment to get back to God. You, America, label the thing conservatism. And America has done a deed, a devilish deed, to the concept and idea of conservatism. They have tethered it to a political organization. So now the unlearned, now those that don't seek, that live on the superficial, that live on the surface, when they hear the word conservatism, they automatically think right-wing, crazy Republican. And they forget conviction, faith, God. And some that actually boast themselves in their chests and poke it out and call themselves conservative don't even understand the core of this idea and where it came from. So Charlie Kirk, in his pursuit of being able to identify and realign himself with this conservative concept, has found himself in the position where he was assassinated for the same free speech the First Amendment in the 1700s afforded him, for the same free speech that the LGBTQ community, you ain't want to talk about that. The LGBTQ community likens their fight and their plight and their position to the fight of the civil rights movement. I don't even understand this. Y'all let that happen. But you killed Charlie Kirk. You killed the man because of his views. To realign. He was on a tour saying the comeback tour. That's the realignment. That's to get back in. See, let me tell you something. Let me tell you how life works. And if you ain't spiritual, that's too bad for you. I'm not in your business. And if you don't believe in these things, then that's too bad for you. I'm not in your business. But I know you like a good show. But we can talk. Let's talk. Let's talk with clarity. When the Berlin Wall effect happened, this was after 28 years. The Berlin Wall went up in 1961, right? And it was taken down in 1989, something like that, right? And the Berlin Wall was between East and West Berlin. It represents segregation, this kind of a separation of mindsets and so forth and so on. And the Berlin Wall was a representation around the world based upon its being amplified by America, the shoveling of more spam. The shoveling, this was the responsibility of all the media outlets during this particular time to be able to identify this. This was a representation of the tearing down of conservatism, the tearing down of segregation that existed in these particular spaces, and the introduction of democracy. So when you identify these particular things, and when we see these things, we have to know what we're looking at. Okay? And so after the Berlin Wall came down and we saw the separation thereof and this introduction of liberty and democracy that exists in all these particular spaces, it was a facade. It wasn't really real. The world championed it, and America amplified it so the world can be able to see that this is what we do in America. But let's talk, man. Let's talk and let's be real with this particular concept. All Charlie Kirk sought to do was to get back in line. That's it. All we seek to do here with the foundation and the realigner and realignment, righteous realignment Bahamas, is to get back in line. Because we have gone far off whoring to and for other gods. It's biblical. We have gone whoring after other gods, seeking the god of yoga. Yeah, because this is do everything. Yeah, listen, man. Let's just be clear. We as men and women in this country have sought and sought after instant gratification. Yeah, we don't want the patience of having to endure and learn and the patience of being able to grow and mature and understand our position. We don't want wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. We want instant gratification. And so when I saw Charlie Kirk and his movement, whilst I didn't necessarily always pay close attention to watching him battle bar for bar, almost rap battle, bar for bar at these various colleges and universities in these various spaces, and being able to show how conservatism and conviction is sort of the course to be able to go at this particular point, I realized that those of us who are charged with a responsibility and seek to be able to align ourselves with faith, there is a connection from a spiritual standpoint. When the Berlin Wall fell, simultaneously there was movement in the Bahamas, a shift happening in the Bahamas in preparation for a new government. The world saw a shift. I called it the trade winds of change. Nothing happens in isolation. Go back historically. Go back historically and identify that. Historically, you can be able to see that despite the fact that we didn't have cell phones, despite the fact that we didn't have TV or and instant access to all these things, despite the fact that how communication was stifled by the time it took to get from one space to another, things happen in the world almost simultaneously, as though there was a spirit that's been released. Talk to me. As though there was a spirit that's been released. And that spirit has placed us in a position that now it's time to fight. If you look at the Burma Road riots, you could look at other portions of the world and recognize that there was a fight for liberty at the same time. If you look at the transition of what was happening in this particular space as it relates to empowerment, you could look and identify that these things were happening around the world at the same time. If you look at the independence that we sought after, you could look around the world and around the region and recognize that we weren't the only ones to be able to enjoy this liberty and the pursuit thereof at the same time. This is where we are, man. This is where we are. And Charlie Boy was murdered in cold blood. Ironically, as he was talking about gun violence and asking how many gun violence mass shootings were there. It's peculiar that in Utah, they were talking about mass shootings, because when we saw one of the first shootings, mass shootings that happened in the theater, you remember that? In Aurora? It was Aurora, Denver. And you wouldn't believe it. I was in Denver during the same time. I was working in Denver at the same time. And they were talking about the shooting. And this thing happened. And so when you look at Denver, when you look at Utah, when you look at Washington State, when you look at Minnesota, when you look at these particular spaces, this is a very conservative. Majority of these particular persons that live in these spaces are Caucasian. And so the question was, how many mass shootings do you think, those are the questions, how many mass shootings you think happened during this time? And he says, including gang violence, because the truth is that there is a subconscious line that separates what happens in other communities simply because they're living in a different space. And so the mass shootings, and I'd love to see the evolution of that question, the mass shootings that existed in these particular spaces, like Utah, Washington State, Minnesota, Denver, so forth and so on, and Colorado, so forth and so on, these particular shootings that happen in this space, for the majority or the most time, it is as a result of Caucasians behind the gun. But there is another part of America that happens in the extremity most of the time, right? Which is on the East Coast or the West Coast, right? Now you see a lot of this happening in Chicago also and in Detroit, but there has been a shifting in those communities. So the question was good to ask him, hey, listen, do you also mean gang violence? No, he didn't mean that. I doubt it. I doubt he meant that at all. He didn't mean that. He didn't mean gang violence. I mean among us. But what you talking about? Bam. Never got up. It's sad. It's sad, man. It's sad to see this sort of an idea that America waves the flag around the world for you to ingest our spam and you wouldn't dare eat the thing. The thing is for export only. That's it. That's spam. That democracy that America speaks of is for export only. That ain't for us to eat here. Bulla, you know how we just live? And as soon as you decide to be able to speak up and speak out about the authenticity of how democracy should be able to exist and how it should work, I can't believe that you're taken out in 2025. Let's have a good show today, guys. We won't be able to talk about it. Charlie Kirk has passed on. I'll show you a little picture. Let's take this commercial break and be right back after this.
You don't know who I is. Fool around and run your mouth. Check yourself, don't misbehave. Watch that! Come on! Sting! Oh, you ain't know what's it. wife and husband start to row, as many does do. Husband say, woman, where my food? Wife say, who you talking to? Husband start to raise his hand, but the wife ain't move. Husband say, get out of my way. Wife say, hey, you don't know me, eh? Boy, you don't know me, eh? You don't know who I is. Fool around and run your mouth. Check yourself, don't misbehave. Boy, you don't know me, eh? You don't know who I is. Fool around, we clip your wing. Boy, you messing with the sting. Oh, this us, mate. Come on. Know how to do it. Yeah, be rude. What? Coming to you. Oh. Watch this. This man went down to DEC as bad as hell. Yeah, they cut off his light, cause he ain't paid the bill. He said, my brother got big posts. Yeah, we bad out there. You must see one lose his job. Oh, you don't know me, eh? Boy, you don't know me, eh? You don't know who I is. Fool around and run your mouth. Check yourself, don't misbehave. Boy, you don't know me, eh? You don't know who I is. Fool around, we clip your wing. Boy, you're messing with the sting. Come on. Yes, man. Come on. Get it. Get it. Oh, yeah. Women walk into a store, you know they like to shop. They spot one designer gown, they start to pull and yuck. Y'all say you better let go, better walk away. Don't make me go crazy up in here. Y'all, you don't know me, eh? Oh, you don't know me, eh? You don't know who I is. Fool around and run your mouth. Check yourself, don't misbehave. Oh, you don't know me, eh? You don't know who I is. Fool around, we clip your wing. Boy, you're messing with this thing. Look here, don't be mad at us, you know. Hey, but you ain't know who he is, eh? You best to know. Head man, let's go, man. Listen, the boys them at the bar, they say it the most. But when they wife come around, you swear they see ghosts. As soon as she drive away, the first thing they say, see, I just run my house, my boy. Oh, you don't know me, eh? Boy, you don't know me, eh? You don't know who I is. Fool around and run your mouth. Check yourself, don't misbehave. Boy, you don't know me, eh? You don't know who I is. Fool around, we clip your wing. Boy, you're messing with this thing. Boy, you don't know me, eh? You don't know who I is. Fool around and run your mouth. Check yourself, don't misbehave. Boy, you don't know me, eh? You don't know who I is. Fool around, we clip your wing. Boy, you're rushing against this thing. Come on! Oh, let's go! That's it, that's it. Come on. Yes, man. Go, go. Come on, let's go. Watch this. Boy, you don't know me, eh? You don't know who I is. Fool around and run your mouth. Check yourself, don't misbehave. Boy, you don't know me, eh? You don't know who I is. Fool around, we clip your wing. Boy, this a behaving thing. Boy, you don't know me, eh? You don't know who I is. Fool around and run your mouth. Check yourself, don't misbehave. Boy, you don't know me, eh? You don't know who I is. Fool around, we clip your wing. Boy, you're messing with this thing. Boy, you don't know me, eh? You don't know who I is. Fool around and run your mouth. Check yourself, don't misbehave. Boy, you don't know me, eh? You don't know who I is. Fool around, we clip your wing. Boy, you're rushing against the sting. Boy, you don't know me, eh? You don't know who I is. Fool around and run your mouth. Check yourself, don't misbehave. Come on. Boy, you don't know me, eh? You don't know who I is. Fool around, we clip your wing. Boy, you're messing with this thing. Oh! Boy, you don't know me, eh? You don't know who I is. Fool around and run your mouth. Check yourself, don't misbehave. No! Boy, you don't know me, eh? You don't know who I is. Fool around, we clip your wing. Boy, you're rushing against this thing.
We're back, ladies and gentlemen. Grateful to be in your company talking about these things. Maybe this is not your cup of tea to be able to hear about the democracy that exists in these particular spaces. Maybe this isn't your cup of tea. Maybe it's not your cup of tea to be able to talk about anything other than, what's happening locally. But it's important that we find ourselves in these positions to be responsible and to be clear about what's happening from the world over. All right. I want you guys to give me a call and be a part of the conversation today. And let me know your views. They shot the man down dead. White, black, green, gray, pink. sunburnt orange, it don't matter what color he is. They kill a man for his views, whilst they stand up in the streets wearing skirts. I don't understand this. I'm confused. You in the streets, I just saw this something on TikTok the other day. These bunch of men in the streets wearing red skirts. They stand up in the streets. Listen to me. You shot the man down dead for his view as an individual. And there are groupings of people that run after liberty, that run after this liberalization, that run after this preserved or perceived democracy. And all this is looseness. You don't want to talk to me like this, man. This is the last days in time, and there is an agenda that exists in these particular spaces, and you have to know, Neo, which pill you can choose. Yeah. This is a red and blue season. This is the red and blue pill season that we exist in. And Neo, new one, you're going to have to make a determination as to which pill you ingest. See, you can no longer come to a fork in the road and remain the same. There is a space of enlightenment. There's a space of impartation. And then you get to the fork in the road. You get to the why in the road. You can either choose to go left, which is a conscious understanding of who you are and the acceptance of where you are. This is me. I won't change. I'll remain the same. That's a conscious acceptance of that. Because before you didn't know. But now that you get to this inflection, to this point, now you open up your eyes and you could see. And then there's the other course, which is right. And so there, at that particular point, there is this kind of a breaking down and recognizing that the full potential that you were called to, you're not living that. That there's so much more for you to do, that I've gone off course, that I was called to be in a particular space, that I have to be able to help my brother and sister. And so now you decide to be able to realign yourself and get back on track with the purpose that you've been called to. Every one of us has to have this proverbial come to Jesus moment. And liberty and this sort of an idea where the liberals exist, all they're doing is lulling you to sleep. You don't want to talk like this. This is a relentless lullaby to fan you into death. You never wake up. You continue to ingest the proverbial spam, which is liberty and democracy. This idea that life has no meaning. That the only call that you're called to is the call to take care and preserve yourself. And life has evolved in such a space where you don't even check for your family no more. You don't even check for your family no more. Your care and concern has departed. And persons pursue this idea of being able to ingest more and more and more things. They want things. Seeking to be able to stuff it into those spaces that's void in their spirit. And it still don't work. It still don't work. I'm watching these podcasts. I'm watching these particular things. There are women and men coming on there and talking about their escapades sexually and how they have had sex with 100 people and 59 and making fun of it and all these particular things. And there is no value being placed on anything. And its banner is democracy. Its banner is liberty. Its banner is Aleister Crowley. Do as thou wilt. Its banner has no railings. It's wide open for you to make a decision to fall into darkness. And only when you sit and you steep in this particular space will you see the light. That's peculiar. The only time you could see the light is when you sit in the dark. That's crazy. That's bananas. That's life. These people the world over, man. The world over. Ingesting. Spoonful after spoonful. And Donald Trump has come back with this particular same concept and idea. And says, don't worry about it. We'll go back down to the Gaza Strip. And when we get to the Gaza Strip, we will feed each and every person personally. We will ensure that all the boots are on the ground, and we will feed you this democratic spam. And simultaneously turn Gaza into the Riviera of the East. Mother sick. America, this is global domination. It started off with propaganda. I dare say this was the fight against Adolf Hitler. Because he had the same idea. He just was aggressive with his. He had the same idea. He started this off with propaganda. He had the exact same idea for global dominance, and world domination, rather. The exact same idea he had. That he stuffed everyone into those particular and slaughtered millions of people, Jews. There's nothing new under the sun. We could go back to Pontius Pilate. We could go back to Caesar. We could go back to any of these particular times. There's nothing new under the sun. We could go back to the days of Noah, where the Word of God says to us that upon his return, it'll be like the days of Noah. There was dominance in this particular space and a rejection of anything to do with righteousness. And we could tell that in the story. The story gives us with clarity. The story speaks about the fact that Noah was righteous in God's sight and everyone else was slaughtered. And as a result of his righteousness, his children were sanctified because of proximity. Not because of the fact that it was decent, because of proximity. And they find themselves in this position. Guys, I want to talk with you today. I don't know if y'all want to be able to hit me up and have this kind of a conversation with me. I'd love that. There's a couple of texts that are coming through. Let me see if I can read it. The Bombers is moving to that point. It says, liberals will now start eliminating right thinkers. Whoa, sir, that is a reach. That is a reach. It says, liberal only want their voices heard. We need a Bahamas wall. We need a Bahamas wall. All liberals move to the southern islands and conservatives move to the northern islands. No doubt an LGBTQ or illegal migrant advocate did this. I don't even know if you're serious. I can't even take you serious. I don't know if you're serious. I don't know if you're doing this for kicks and giggles. But I wanted to have a real conversation today. And to talk about these particular things. Let me see if my producer actually has been able to play that story. I want you to see that and see how it's happened. Did you play it for TikTok? Did I had it on TikTok? No? Can you do it? No? Because if you can, I can be able to download it and just send it to you. I wanted to play that. I want you to be able to see the mindset that exists. Oh, you did? Anton, try calling again. I don't know what happened to the phone. Hold on, wait. Let me look at the phone. Try calling again. Let me see if I can be able to get him. Guys, the numbers you can be able to reach me at is 827-0111, 827-0111. We are here. We are live. And we are jamming. Oh my God. You wouldn't believe what happened, Anton. I think that me turn off. I think this phone is no good. Turn off airplane mode. about to sick all this all the time. I got the thing on airplane mode. I was in a meeting earlier today, and just as I say that, I thought you called. My God, I had the thing on airplane mode. Forgive me. Come on, come on. I don't know what's happening. Let me try to call you. Oh, Lord. Ladies and gentlemen, please forgive me. Look at my phone. I got more tape on this than a box game through Bahamas Air. Jesus God. This more tape on this phone, you would think. Oh, Lord. The phone. See, what happened is that I woke up this morning and the screen fell out. I don't know why and what happened. I tell you I needed a new phone. I'm going on to sell all. Mr. Marshall, I coming down to you. I don't know if you're listening to my podcast, but I can come down to you and get myself taken care of in these particular light. Anton, try to call the next phone. I can hook this up. Anton, if you could be able to hear me, you know the number for the next phone. Let's try to be able to see if I can get that one done and work that out. Let me see if I can hook it up to this. Go ahead. My producer's going to have to be able to give me that. I'm so sorry, man. Guys, technical difficulties. Don't fight me. We're out here trying to be as decent as possible and provide you what I suppose would have been a seamless show, right? But it ain't happening. I don't know why. It didn't happen. All right, let's see if I can be able to put you on speaker. Anton, you can hear me?
Howard,
Yes, go ahead.
a pleasant good afternoon. How you doing, my brother?
I'm fantastic, man. This is the first time we can be doing this like this. I just have to hook everything up to the system. Go ahead.
No problem, no problem. Gotta get that next phone sorted. BTC,
Man.
hey, where y'all at? Where y'all
Hey,
at?
man, come on, man. Tell him give me a sponsorship, man. You all send me some phone.
Alive, BTC, alive. You're good.
Franklin
client.
Butler.
Where y'all at? Where y'all at for the foundation?
Franklin Butler, you keep asking me, Howard, you got a live here. Send me some phone. For Jesus' sake, amen.
Can
Go
you hear
ahead.
me, Howard?
Yeah, go ahead. What you say?
Howard,
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead. I'm right here.
Howard.
I'm right here. Go ahead, Anton. Right here.
You're good. Franklin Butler.
Oh, Anton,
Franklin Butler.
you got a delay on the phone.
I don't know what's going on, Howard, but I can't hear you.
Turn your phone down, Anton. Go ahead.
I can't hear you.
Anton, you can't listen to me. Anton, you can't listen to me through the thing. Let me take a commercial break. Guys, let me take a commercial break and get my phone situated. This wrap up like this guy in the Freeport, right? Let me take a quick commercial break, guys. Gonna be right back after this.
Call the fire engine, run, tell 'em come quick. I can feel my temperature rising, never could we can creep like this. Lord, all over my body, from my head straight down to my feet. I shall meet this pint on the good drum and the solo lyric so sweet. Oh, I went to Cat Island to the musical festival. I was always into reggae and rap, never checked for the rake and scream. Lord, I stay with my family up the road there in Atlas Town. And everywhere I went, all the people were talking about the battle of the band. Oh, call the fire engine, run, tell 'em come quick. I could feel my temperature rising, never heard rake and scream like this. Lord, all over my body, from my head straight down to my feet. I shall beat this pint on the good drum and the solo the rake so sweet. Oh, by later that evening, all I drink had me feeling fine. And when I reached the Rake and Scrape Fest, but Lord, I wanted to prance. Oh, the music was jamming, Lord, it put me into a trance. And everybody was looking at me as I made up my own new dance. Oh, call the fire engine, run, tell 'em come quick. I could feel my temperature rising, never heard Rake and Scrape like this. Lord, all over my body, from my head straight down to my feet. I should beat this pint on the good drum and the solo the beat so sweet. Oh, straight from the beginning, Rake and Scrape got to the end.
Everyone was having a good time, everyone was having fun. Lord, come salad and fried fish, peas and rice with crab in it too. Mashed root, gal, don't let it bite you. If it bite you, I can bite too. Oh, call the fire engine, run tell 'em come quick. I could feel my temperature rising, never would make a trip like this. Lord, all over my body, from my head straight down to my feet. Ancient beat this bank on the good drum, and the all Lord, the rig so sweet. Come on, play that guitar. Ah, ring that saw and spank that drum. Sweet rig and string. Some people were sitting, but the doctor say I should dance. So I go off the brand new Nike and I plant my feet on the ground. Lord, thunder, follow lightning, soldier crab walking in the sand. We can scream is the sweetest music that you hear in the Bahama land. Oh, call the fire engine, run tell 'em come quick. I could feel my temperature rising, never would break a creep like this. Lord, all over my body, from my head straight down to my feet. Ancient beat this bank on the good drum, and the soul of the beat so sweet. Oh, call the fire engine.
All right, we're back. Anton, you there?
Yeah, I'm here, Howard.
All right, praise God. We got you together. We got everything. I appreciate your telephone, your patience, and being able to call in with us,
good.
ladies and gentlemen of the foundation. Go ahead, Anton.
So you can hear me clearly now?
Yeah, man, I can hear you clearly. Go ahead.
Okay, excellent. Pleasant good afternoon. It's good to be in the land of the foundation
Praise God.
on this pleasant Thursday afternoon.
Yeah.
God is good. Good afternoon to the Foundation Nation. Now, Howard,
Yeah.
I was listening to you intently as your show progressed, and I note you were speaking about a young gentleman who was assassinated, they say,
Yes,
in the U.S., right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't following him, and so I'm not aware, but I was speaking with a friend of mine who was giving me sort of a rundown on the person, saying that he's a conservative, and that he was pushing his conservative message across America. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Right.
He was,
And I heard you
he was
speaking-
pushing the fact that there shouldn't be no abortions. He was just really pushing a message of faith. His thing, if you actually read up on it, has evolved. He started this way back in, I think, 2012, and it evolved to a position where he started this with his one of his friends. I think his name is Kent Montgomery or something like that. And it evolved to a position where they actually had a branch, a religious branch, right? Really being able to have a faith-based branch and having people really get back to Christ and God and so forth and so on, right? So he had a desire to be able to introduce or reintroduce sort of righteousness in the space. And the people kill him for it. They kill the man for it. Talk to me.
Listen, you know, Howard.
Go ahead.
Now, you know, during your conversation, you would have touched on something that I found to be of great interest, right? Especially when you look the world over, and even when you localize this aspect of this conversation that I'm about to mention, where you said, in a democracy, right? You mentioned that the LGBTQ I, or however they call it,
I plus,
seeks to promote their message, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they use their platforms, and they want their message to be accepted, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And they don't want to be stereotyped. They don't want to be, spoken terribly or badly against. They want the freedom, and I'm trying to speak in as local a term as I possibly can. They want the freedom to be able to stand on their message, promote their message, and live like everyone else in the United States or anyone else who has the freedoms the world over, correct?
Right.
And so, and you would have expressed that this gentleman was seeking to do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But Howard, I want to speak on this specifically, and then I want to speak about the last part of what you spoke about in reference to the U.S. and its democracy and referencing it as spam, right? And so, unfortunately, Howard, right here, even in our own country, right, which came from a biased, digressive form of democracy that only served the minority in this country, right? which is a conversation that me and you had in your previous life on the other station. We had that often, right? And we've also had that conversation since you've walked into your own program, right? And I heard bits of it come out yesterday during your call during your live call with the good doctor. What's his name?
Dr. Stubbs, Jason Stubbs.
Dr. Jason Stubbs.
I
Right?
enjoyed that conversation. Yeah.
Yeah. Y'all had a pretty progressive conversation yesterday, I must admit. Some parts of it I would disagree with, but for the most part, y'all had a very progressive conversation right along the line of what me and you had just discussed the day before, as a matter of fact, right? In terms of growth and meeting people one particular place, but not leaving them in that particular place
Right.
at the end of your term.
Right.
You recall that
Yes.
conversation?
Yes.
And that was sort of the mantra for the empowerment, the national